You just won the lottery for 1.4 billion. What you doing? Story 1, 10-step plan. 1. Hire lawyer and hire accountant. 2. Pay off any existing debts. 3. Sit on monthly income for a year until my partner and I know what the tax situation will look like. 4. Put enough into CDs/interest accruing accounts to get interest payouts equaling about $200K. 5. Build self-sustainable home off-grid near Lake Superior. 6. Pay off family/friend debts. 7. Put about $1 million into gold coins/bricks and bury on property, probably in a safe chain to the foundation of the home. 8. Buy fun stuff. I'm getting a Space Marine Terminator cosplay. 9. Start donating the rest to saving the environment. 10. Retire. Story 2, as I put in a similar thread. My very first step is to keep my goddamned mouth shut about it. As the old adage goes, 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. The fewer people that know about it, the better for me. After that, I will make 3 front and back copies of the ticket. More on that later, and head to the bank. There, I will get a safety deposit box and put the ticket in there for the next 2 to 3 months. This will allow me to cool off from the initial excitement, as well as letting the excitement of, there's a big winner in our area, to fade, which protects me from potential thieves. During this cooling off time, I will do some research to find a lawyer who has experience with wealth cases, as well as a certified public accountant and a wealth management group. The previously made copies will serve to prove to them that I have the winning ticket and am not wasting their time. All 3 of them will have confidentiality clauses, which means that they can't disclose anything about me or my new wealthy status without my express permission unless required to by law. The lawyer will be in charge of setting up a trust to protect my identity. Very few state lottery commissions allow for total anonymity for lottery claims. In my particular state, the Lottery Commission is required by law to have a public list of the names of the lottery winners, so the trust will be used to claim the winnings, with me as the beneficiary. The CPA will be in charge of getting all my newly complicated financial ducks in a row. They will be in charge of going over every aspect of my financial life with a fine-toothed comb, gathering all bills, debts, and tax responsibilities, and laying it all out so I can take care of it all. The wealth management firm will work with the other 2 when it comes to trust planning and tax planning, as well as dealing with investment planning, estate planning, and a host of other duties to help me not blow it all. Next on the list is to start looking at properties. I will want a home of my own, but nothing fancy or grandiose. Just a relatively small plot of land, 10 acres at most, but more like 4-7 acres, in a good area with a custom home that isn't too large, just big enough for me and my dogs. As to my lifestyle post-win, like the house, my lifestyle will be not indicative of my wealth. I have no desire for fancy, expensive testaments to my wealth. About the most extravagant you will see is that I will vacation more than I do now, which is a low bar to clear. On vacation, when I am away from home, I will be more likely to indulge in finer things, such as first-class tickets, expensive hotels, etc. But other than that, I've always preferred function over style. Conspicuous consumption grosses me out. Will I have nice things? Absolutely. A well-built home that meets my needs and has a good security system is better than a luxury estate with armed guards. I'd prefer a Yukon Denali over a Ferrari. My dogs would get more luxurious shit than I would. The only real allowance for pure vanity I would do is to have myself a bespoke suit made. No, I'd rather my money be used to make money instead of buying useless crap. Story 3. Oh, and no one has exclusive rights to make any financial obligations on my behalf without my signature. Also, all my financial folks would be audited by independent third-party financial investigators annually. All a part of risk management. Worst thing you can do is make it look like you're not looking after your own money. Any financial person with nothing to hide will not be offended. It can also reveal weakness in your internal controls. Story 4. I'm taking my entire extended family out of poverty. My mom's side is okay. They don't need it. But my dad's side is struggling. First, I'm getting both of my grandmas at-home caregivers. They both have dementia. But I'm getting my fraternal grandma a house, and all 4 of my sisters get their own houses and new cars. Nothing too fancy, just houses and cars they won't have to worry about paying off. Same with my parents, my 3 aunts, and all 9 of my cousins. And I'd also pay for their children's educations. I'll make sure my autistic niece gets all the care and therapy in the world. For myself, again, nothing fancy. I don't want it to be known that I'm rich. I don't want to feel rich. I just want to live comfortably. So I'd finally put a nice ring on my GF's finger. We'd start a family and happily live out the rest of our lives. Story 5. Hire a fiduciary. Other people have noted this, But the point I've not seen yet is that some fiduciaries don't have to act as fiduciaries if they also have a broker license. Look for fiduciaries who advertise being fee-only. If you see fee-based run away, that person is also a broker and gets to act like one even while claiming to be a fiduciary. Story 6. That's way too much money. I'll get a hold of a trustworthy wealth manager and set up a system that will pay me enough to live comfortably without having to worry about working. But not to excess. That's vulgar. That should be no more than 2-3% of that money. Once that's in place, the next goal is to make that money work for the good of the less fortunate among us by setting up a non-profit foundation. There's a local non-profit here that pays up to 100% of college tuition and fees for any student graduating from the local school district. The percentage scales based on how many years the student attended in district. Students who attended K-12 or 1-12 get 100%. There are speculations, but the donor or donors are known only to the administrators. Anyway, I'd want to do something like that. I don't need it to be about me. Story 7. Probably have to pay a bunch in taxes after winning that much money. Pay off my debt, go to the doctor/dentist/therapy, get a college uni degree, do a bunch of creative art and humanitarian work like I've always wanted to do, but haven't been able to because of working so much to survive. Buy a house, fix my car, go on a vacation, invest in my future, help others in positive ways. Story 8. First and foremost, before ever cashing in the ticket, speak with an accountant, a financial manager, and a lawyer. One of the first things that I would do is hire a personal assistant. Their ultimate job would be to help me manage my life to such a degree that a personal assistant no longer is necessary. At that point, they would be released from service with a bonus and a large severance package. Story 9. I won't need that much money. I'll probably give 1.3B to my loved ones and relatives from extended family and charities. As for my 100 I'll pay my loans and put the rest in an investment portfolio and live a very good, comfortable life, me and my immediate family, and I won't be worried about them when my time comes. Story 10. Immediate retirement. Personal concierge the shit out of every task and chore that's a pain in my ass. Top-notch medical care and zero debt for my entire extended family. Whatever the hell my awesome husband wants. Nicer grave markers for both of my parents. Ludicrously generous support of our local cat rescue organization. Funding a memorial scholarship in my mom's name for Native American women at my alma mater. A quiet, private property on some acreage with tons of trees and a running stream. And creating the ultimate cat sunroom playroom for my 4 fur babies. Superb vet and grooming care for them also. Splurge on a sterling silver flatware service for 12 in my favorite pattern. I've always wanted one, but could never afford it. Hire a genealogy expert to research my family background and create a detailed, documented family history that can be shared with my loved ones. Hire a personal trainer and get me and my husband to optimum health to enjoy our 60s and beyond. Get a passport. Go see a bit of the world outside the U.S. and just drink it all in. Hold my husband's hand and remember every moment that he is the true windfall, and the money is just a nice side bonus to our life together. Story 11. I would not tell anyone that I was the lottery and quietly pay off all my debt, mortgage and car note. I would continue working my normal 9-5 as I still like the idea of working hard. I would use the money for retirement, and if there are kids, I probably do what the Rockefellers did to build generational wealth with some caveat to ensure my kids or their kids don't become money-hungry jerks. I'm not rich, but I earn enough to take care of myself and family. TBH, I don't really see myself going crazy with money. I can still do the things I desire, which is traveling. Maybe not right away or all at once, but still capable enough to get what I want. Hope this helps. Story 12. After the obvious financial security steps like hiring a lawyer, etc., once I have the money, I'm going to make sure my whole family is financially secure, paying off my house and all my family's debts, including my siblings' debts, buying the houses on either side of my house for family to live in, buying homes for my siblings in their cities so they no longer have to pay rent. Then I'm going to take my whole family on vacation. Story 13. I would sign the back of the ticket, call up my financial advisor, find a lawyer, and then claim the cash option, but do so anonymously, as allowed under state law. I would show up to work the next day and not tell a soul who I don't choose to. I would get a decent house, a decent car, nothing that screams, I just won the lottery, not more house than I need or more car than I need. I would give, anonymously but generously, to the hospital that saved my life and to my alma mater. I would primarily support education, arts, and culture, and non-profit media like my local public radio stations, the Baltimore Banner and Baltimore Beat. But the bulk of it will go to my financial guy to manage according to his advice and my goals. I'd take nicer vacations and cross destinations like New Zealand off my bucket list, but I would be careful not to go on social media and flaunt my newfound wealth or make people wonder about my drastic change in living situation. I'd probably retire early and comfortably. As for what would happen to my money when I croak, no idea as of yet. Story 14. Of course, the obligatory follow the Reddit lottery post. Then I'd get a shark of a lawyer to help my BFF get through the divorce and custody battle she's in with her abusive-ass red pill canon ex-husband. Then property. A huge piece of property with a lake, and plenty of space to build multiple houses, somewhere around the Great Lakes. Space for each family to have their own house, but all close enough that we can bike or golf cart to each other's houses. My parents, my brothers, 4 of my very best friends. A huge garden and playground, chickens, goats, a huge sensory gym for my kids and private occupational therapy, and a person who does all of my meal prep. I'll cook it. You just plan, shop, and prep everything. Maybe even employ a couple teachers to come in and homeschool all the kids. 2 houses in New Orleans, one for my bestie who already lives there, and one for me when we visit. And I'd hire a person to help my brother with his addiction and mental health struggles, whatever it would take. Story 15. Building a 1,800 SQF house with a full basement and a 1,600 SQF shop garage beside it on 200 acres in South Alabama/Idaho/Montana/Utah. Full solar power, multiple wells and rainwater collection systems. Buying 100,000 rounds of 30.06, buying 100,000 rounds of .308, buying 50,000 rounds of .00 buck, getting about 1,000 arrows made for my bow, a shack with roughly $30K worth of fishing tackle, minus 20 milk goats, minus 20 meat goats, minus 20 sheep, minus 20 heifers, minus 20 chickens, minus 10 horses, minus 2 side-by-sides, minus 2 Honda Rancher, 350s, minus 2024 Ford Super Duty King Ranch, minus 2004 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD, minus 212 feet. Fishing kayaks, minus 2009 Bass Tracker boat. Big ass pull-behind trailer. Put $750K in a trust for my kids' emergencies. Donate the rest to have homeless shelters opened. Disappear from society. Story 16. The government probably will take a huge chunk out of it. I'll probably give my friends, relatives, and family $1 million each, so they don't have to be worrying about bills or owning a house. By the end of giving away government taxes, and maybe some donations to some charity, I'll more or less will have around 500 mil left. I'll keep like 100 mil in a savings account for backups and income from interests. This money I won't touch, it's a safety net in case shits hits the fan. 100 mil will probably used for splurge spending for luxury and stuff. 300 mil I'll hire some lawyers and accountants to help me invest. Story 17. Buying a tiny house on an island in the Azores. Building affordable tiny house communities where I can. Focusing specifically on the homeless, making sure personally my money helps those who don't have the means, or who do have the means but are still struggling, paying off random folks' student loans, and hopefully leaving myself like 7 million to just stay in my tiny home, travel when I want, take care of myself, and maybe open up a little coffee shop, bookstore. Story 18. Okay, first things first, Uncle Sam gets half, so I've got $700 million left. Hire a financial advisor, pay him $5 million, and assign them $145 million to work with. A fraction of that money will pay off all my outstanding debts, and the rest, almost $145 million LMAO, goes into various savings and investments of some kind, whatever they recommend. My goals here are just to have enough coming back to me each year to cover cost of living and a little fun, let's say 5-7K a month, pay off taxes for things like the house I'll buy, and safeguard a little against inflation. Now I've got $550 million left. I'll spend $50 million on myself, buy a house in a walkable neighborhood in my home area, Portland, Oregon. I'm single, but I'd like something that a family could live in someday, and something with a study for my work. I'd also want a little bit of a backyard with a stone patio, and ideally, a really nice fire-resistant cover, so that I could fire up my grills year-round. Furnish the house the right way. I'd hire an interior decorator designer and lean on their recommendations. Buy Las Vegas Raiders season tickets for this upcoming season, 10 pairs of plane tickets to Vegas, once the schedule comes out in May, and book a room for 10 different nights at the Mandalay Bay near the stadium. My father and I are going to enjoy that. Go on a nice clothes shopping spree. I've always said that if I were rich, I would buy a bunch of the same outfit, like a Steve Jobs kind of thing, and wear my favorite outfit every day. I'd have to change it up for each season, and I'd still need something nice to wear in special occasions. Suits for fancy stuff. Raiders gear for the weekend trips to Vegas in the fall. Assuming I have some of the $50 million left over, my parents get it so that they can finally get a house on the Oregon coast like they've always dreamed of. I'll probably have $500 million left, and that money will be donated to my alma mater, my college fraternity, local public schools, local libraries, any cool charities that catch my eye. Story 19, get a lawyer, start a nonprofit, create a gambling club to claim the ticket so it can stay anonymous. Make sure your lawyer is the face of the club. Set up the nonprofit to help people who are down on their luck in my area. Get a respectable paycheck from helping run the nonprofit. Pay the people their actual fair wage at the nonprofit. Set up training programs for people to get skills to build stuff. Sell the stuff to continue funding the nonprofit. Solicit more donations to keep it going. Buy things that the nonprofit needs and provide them at a fair market rate to the nonprofit. Develop walkable neighborhoods with mixed income levels with the services people need to survive and thrive. Position my personal assets to also grow during the development, but keep it separate from the nonprofit. Step down from the nonprofit once it is self-sustaining, and then provide materials or property the nonprofit needs and have some income coming in from that. Retire to a small apartment with a nearby park and a walkable neighborhood with a community that supports itself. Live over top a coffee shop and spend too much time on the free Wi-Fi with no one really aware of what I really did to get this healthy neighborhood put together. Continue making moderate profit from the assets in the neighborhood with affordable rent and walkable area, and use that to continue giving to the nonprofit. Take vacations to places and eat all of the different kinds of food in the world. TLDR, create nonprofit with all of the money, work at nonprofit for income, create a thriving walkable neighborhood and community with the nonprofit in an area that could use it, profit a little on it along the way, then eventually wander the world eating all the types of food I can find. Story 20, buy a decent house in Austin, a house in San Jose, and a house in the middle of nowhere on a huge plot in southwest Washington near the coastal rainforest. Nothing huge. Take TX residency for the taxes. Set WA property up to be a fully tricked out, secure, and self-sustaining enough to support my entire family. CA home will be to visit my family. After that, set aside money for my children's houses, weddings, and college vocational tuition. Pay back everybody who ever did something for me so they can't hold it over my head anymore. Many of the people in my life suck. The rest will be given to accountants, lawyers, and stockbrokers to ensure I can maximize as much financial growth as possible. What I do with my profits will be to not only live a comfortable and modest life, but to lobby Congress and help support politicians to vote out congressional trading, enact congressional term limits, limit corporate residential property purchases, and more to support my fellow people. Story 21. Opt for it to be paid in the form of a trust dispersing over the next N years, or whatever the option is to not cash it out, and immediately lose like $500 million to taxes. If that's not an option, or if this is the post-tax amount, the plan stays the same either way because I cannot fathom how to handle $1 billion. I have a rough plan called, I cannot fathom how to handle $1 billion, so I will spend money on someone who can. Financial advisors have a legal obligation to act in the intentions of their clients, and if they don't, then I will sue them for damages. I won't spend it all, but I will find a nice house for me and my wife. I will keep working. I will keep most of the money invested in diverse stock options, and I might still buy something funny just for the sake of it, and having it displayed in the living room. Story 22. Taking lump sum and paying the taxes on it. Getting a team of lawyers to set up a trust fund so the money is in the trust, and not my personal money. Get a team of financial advisors. With what's left after all of this, probably start with a 1/4 of it going into safe 1-year bonds, 1/3-1/2 of it invested in mutual funds stock market, then the rest in a bank for instant cash access. Wait a year before touching any investments to pay long-term instead of short-term capital gains tax. Only sell off, at max, what you make in interest every year so that you never take away from the principal. If it's a bad year, that's fine, you have cash reserves. If stocks are down, buy more. Once that's set up, pay off any remaining debts, start donating to my charities of choice, alma mater, etc. Otherwise, continue working because I enjoy work, especially since there's no pressure to work to survive at my current standard of living. Definitely have a house in the Rockies and go skiing as much as possible. Probably get a hot hatchback with 4-wheel all-wheel drive and a hybrid or electric car. Ideally, you don't spend as much as you make in the market building the wealth over time. This plan has a lot of assumptions, but once you have that kind of money, it's easy to make money.